this video, we will be covering the portions of memory unit. The subtopic is measuring memory. The next topic is primary memory. Inside that, you get to see RAM and ROM, and then again classification of ROMs. Under this ROM topic, you can see PROM, EPROM, and EEPROM. After that, the next topic is cache memory. Then comes secondary memory, and followed by in-text questions 1.2. So these many things will be covered in this particular video. Okay, let's go to the video. The topic that we are going to cover is memory unit. So we have to know what a memory is. CPU does a lot of processing, and to store this data we need some devices. Those devices are known as memory unit or memory devices, and the data or the amount of how much data is being stored, that is decided through using this memory unit. Okay, so inside memory unit you have classifications of primary memory and secondary memory. Primary memory is generally accessible directly by the CPU. It can again be classified as RAM and ROM. These are the classifications of primary memory. Primary memory can be classified as RAM and ROM. Random access memory, and this is read-only memory. The special primary memory loses its content as soon as the computer is switched off. Okay, so data can be stored and retrieved at much faster rate with primary memory as compared to secondary memory. So that is the advantage of primary memory. So primary memory, what it does is, since it is residing in the CPU, its speed is very high. So compared to secondary memory, you can easily access the data with much higher speed. And if we go for secondary memory, you have so many other devices so that they can be permanently saved. That is the disadvantage of primary memory. You don't have that permanent storage, or these are volatile things. It will lose the content as when the data or the power goes off. So secondary memory helps in such situations, like even if the power is switched off, the data resides there, or data is still accessible. So primary memory, one thing is it is more expensive than secondary memory. So if you go for the devices differences, primary memory and secondary memory, primary memory is much expensive. These are less than primary memory. It is much faster, but it is volatile, like data can't be saved for later usage. And secondary memory is slower than primary memory, but you can get the information, or the information will be there for a longer time with you based on the type of device. Through this, when the computer is doing any task, the data that have been processed are stored in the primary memory very near to CPU. This data may come from an input device like keyboard, or from a secondary device like a secondary storage device like a hard disk. That means whenever the data has to be processed, it can be taken from any input device. That means user is inputting some information, or it can use some information which is already stored in some form in your secondary storage device or permanent storage. So you can take it and then do some kind of processing to it. Program or set of instructions kept in primary memory, the computer is able to follow them instantly. For example, when you book a ticket from railway reservation counter, the computer has to follow some steps, like it has to take the request from the user, check the availability, of the seats, then calculate the fare, wait for the money to be paid, save the reservation and print the ticket. So all this saving of this reservation, whatever is there, all this information should go to some device, and it also need to take some input from the user. So in such cases this memories comes into play, and the program containing these steps are kept in primary memory. The program or the how it has to be done, that is kept in the primary memory. But inside the computer, the steps followed are quite different from what we see on the monitor. So you can see here it understands, a computer understands only 0 and 1, that is binary language. It understands binary language, and how it do the things, let's see through a diagram. It's here already, one diagram is here. You can see user enters some data in the decimal form, and the computer converts it to binary form. So when the user enters something, it will be in the human readable form. Like uh, here you can see the data will be in the human readable form. That is, we can human, like if you are going to enter your age, date of birth, all these things will be in the way that humans can understand. Like it will be some December 11th 2000 is the date you want to enter, but a computer will not understand all these things. It has to convert the information to its binary form, which is, what is the binary form? That is 0 and 1 form. So then central processing unit, or a CPU, just process the information, and it gives the whatever is the output. The output again gets converted to human understandable form, so that the user can understand what has happened, and computer cannot understand this human form, or the decimal form you can say, and it's converted to binary form, and it process according to that. This is what happens usually is measuring memory. So to measure memory, you have got so many units. Like now, before that, we have to learn some terms that are being used here. Cells. The primary or internal storage unit is made up of several small storage locations called cells. Each of the cells can store a fixed number of bits called word length. So this is another term, word length. So consider this is one cell. Okay. This is one cell, this is another cell. So we have got three cells here. So each cell can store a fixed number of bits. That is known as word length, and this area is known as a cell. Each cell has a unique number assigned to it called the address, and to identify each of the cells, different address is being given. Consider it is 1001, another maybe 1002. It doesn't like it won't be a duplication. Everything will be unique, so that each and every cell is identified through a unique number or a unique address. You can just compare it to the drawer. It is like a large cabinet containing many drawers. The address on the memory. That means every drawer will have some information, and it will have a different address. You can just relate this address to anybody's home address. That means with a combination of street address, street name, and the zip code, or the PIN number, whenever they are combined, it won't be a duplication. It won't be duplication. It will be a different address all the time. So that way, the cells are being given address in the language in your computer system. So also we have got different units for measuring. Before that, we have to know with what is a bit and a byte. Data in a computer is stored in the form of zeros and one, binary language. Okay, each of the digit is known as a bit. Each digit is known as a bit, and collection of 8 bits makes a byte. That is very important. Bit makes byte. Each cell of the memory contains one character or one byte of data. So other units are kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, and this is this table you can just go through. 1 kilobyte is equal to 1024 bytes. So the next one is megabyte. So 1 megabyte makes 1024 kilobytes. This chart can be remembered and it's very important. Next one is primary memory. So where is the location of primary memory? It is in the processor itself, and it is accessed by the processor directly. So since it is very near to the processor, the data or the information or the whatever is being stored can be accessed very easily. Also we know it with another name, that is main memory or internal memory. So when if you see this name somewhere else, it simply means it is primary memory. It's again classified as RAM and ROM, random access memory and read-only memory. So RAM is volatile and ROM is non-volatile. That means the data erases off when the power is lost. Okay, so RAM is a type of memory in which it is possible to randomly select and use any location of the memory directly to store and retrieve the data. It is also known as read or write memory. Since it is volatile, the data is lost as soon as the power is switched off. A type of primary memory in which data can only be read. You can't modify anything. You can't do anything to the data that is already available. And this ROM is non-volatile memory. It's not volatile. That is, when you switch off the power, the data will not be lost. Okay. So basic input output system or BIOS, that program is being stored in ROM. So when the computer gets started, this function is being stored in ROM. So again, ROM can be classified as PROM, EPROM and EEPROM. So programmable read-only memory, it is not possible to modify or erase the program stored in ROM, but it is possible for you to store your program in PROM chip. So PROM chip, you can store your programs, and once the programs are written, it cannot be changed. Okay, you can program the ROM accordingly. Okay, so you can store your data accordingly, and this one, and once it is done, you will not lose the information. Another one is erasable programmable read-only memory or erasable programmable ROM. That means you can erase the information also, and you can program also. You can you can put some information also, and you can also remove the information. That is known as EPROM. Next is electrically erasable program. That is through electricity, using electricity you can do this erasing of information and all. It is known as EPROM. So these are the classifications of ROM. Next topic is cache memory 1.6.2. The speed of CPU is very high, so the access time from the memory is not of that high speed, so the performance of CPU decreases due to this. And to improve the performance of CPU, a small chip is attached between CPU and the main memory, whose access time is very close to the processing speed of your CPU. So this is cache memory, and the chip that is being used has a high processing time also. So that doesn't affect the speed of the CPU or is placed on the motherboard. This is the place where cache memory resides. Next topic is secondary memory. So what is the use of secondary memory? Like we have two things we already saw. Primary memory is there, and cache memory is there. They have their limitations. Primary memory doesn't have the speed as the CPU requires, whereas cache memory has high speed, but it is little bit more costlier or expensive if you go for this storage device. So there comes the use of secondary memory. Secondary memory is not that costly as cache memory, and also it has high speed than primary memory, so which helps the CPU and the processing things. We have got so many secondary storage devices like CDs, DVDs and pendrives. CD, DVDs, pendrives and other devices to apply or to use or store our data. Hard disk, all these things are available. So let's see one by one what are the different secondary storage devices that are being in use. The first one is magnetic tape. How a magnetic tape looks like is it looks something like this, and you might have seen this real kind of thing. The informations are stored in this tape, and you might have seen the cassettes in which the songs, you can see a kind of reels coming out from here. So this stores the information, and it is used for mainframe computers, large computers, where you need to store so much of data. Next one is magnetic disk. Okay, next one is magnetic disk. So you might have seen gramophone recorder. So gramophone recorder, it has a circle and then it has a head, and then the head touches the circle. You can see something like this. It's a circle and a kind of pin is there here, which, and this just rotates throughout. It rotates, and what happens is when it rotates, the data is being read. So that is what happens. Data means the song just plays according to that. So it is stored on the top portion using something magnetic thing. So same process happens in your magnetic disk too. Here datas are being written, their song is there and you have a datas here. Next one is floppy disk, that is not in much use nowadays. It has got something like this. This is not very big, it is very small uh, device where you can store the data, and you used to have for the computer, you for the CPUs you used to have a separate like this, and you have to have a floppy disk area where you can insert this floppy disk and read the data that you had. So that, like that, floppy disks used to work, but they are not in much use nowadays. Pen drive has taken its place, and it was portable. You can just like pen drive, you can carry it anywhere, but it was much bigger than pen drive. Next one is hard disk. So hard disk is a very useful secondary storage device where you can store multiple datas and so much of information, and it is located, it can be bought separately outside, and also it is located inside your CPU. So it is fixed inside the CPU, but it can still, but still external hardware disks are also available. It can store huge amount of data, and also it provides relatively quick access to the data. So if you want to store long term data for a longer time, or after years you just want to see the data back, you just go for this hard disk hard disk, which are one of the secondary storage devices. Next one is uh, how a hard disk look like. So it has numerous disks, one above the other, with a cylindrical spindle in between. So it's shown in the figure. We can see that figure, and it is recorded electromagnetically in the form of concentric circles. So you have got tracks in that, and you have got blocks. These are the 2 3 terms that are in general use for a hard disk and its structure. And you have also got track, blocks, sectors. In the hard disk drive, there is a read-write head mounted on the arm placed next to the stacked disk. You can see in the picture next. This head moves horizontally and vertically. It moves both horizontally and vertically to read and write the data on the disk. So you can see the picture how it looks like. You can see some picture looks like multiple disks are available. 3 disks are there stacked one upon the other, and you have got a read write head, and when it uh, touches this area, and it just reads the information horizontally and vertically how the thing moves. But I will not see all these things outside. And this is each this is known as track. You can see here this portion is sector, and this particular portion is block. Next one is optical disc. Optical disc, you have got CD-ROM. You can CD-ROM is written during the process of manufacturing by high power laser beams. Next one is recordable CD. That is, the CDs can be used to write data onto them provided your computer has a CD writer. If you have a CD writer in your computer, it helps to record some information. CD disc or CD or compact disc usually helps in both read and write. You can read and then you can erase the information, and again you can read or write. You can write some information back. Next one is DVD, much larger than CDs, and it used to have larger capacity than your CD, used for mainly films and all. Next one is flash memories. So you have got 2 examples of flash memories: memory card and pendrive. Pendrive, as you know, stores information, can be taken to any other places. It is portable. Memory card you have got in your digital cameras, mobile phones and all, that stores the information. These all are secondary storage devices. So these are the classifications of secondary storage devices. Next is Intext questions 1.2. So let's see or solve these questions. Filling the blanks. First one is 1 KB is equal to how many bytes? So this is already given in the chapter as such. It is 1024 bytes. Primary memory is of 2 types. Which are they? RAM and ROM. Very clearly mentioned in the chapter. To increase the performance of CPU, a small memory chip is attached between CPU and the main memory, whose access time is very close to the processing time of CPU. This memory is called what type of memory? So see, CPU and main memory. That means CPU and primary memory. You have got a, a small chip attached between them. So which was that? So that is cache memory, special kind of chip. Next one is hard disk is the most commonly used what kind of storage device? Primary or secondary? It's secondary. Next one is true or false. So first one is there are 2 kinds of computer memory, primary and secondary. That is true. The computer can understand decimal system also. That is false. It cannot understand. It can understand only binary system. The storage of program and data in the RAM is permanent. RAM, the data or the information is not permanent. Next is PROM is a secondary memory. It is false. Next one is the memories which do not lose their content on failure of power supplies are known as non-volatile memories. That is true. So Intext questions 1.2 is done. Thank you.